We have so much to talk about. We have so much to laugh about. All here on Finkley.
Hi, this is Grammy-nominated Lavelle Crawford. You know me. But you are watching my man, Michael Finkley, on the Michael Finkley Show. Keep watching. This brother going to play.
We're bringing the heat on Finkley. Speaker, author, educator, and Firestarter himself, Brian Heath is with us. Brian tells us more about his fantastic movement, his awesome book, and an exclusive announcement coming up.
If I can make it through the night, just to see a brighter side, 'cause I've been working all my life just to make.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Michael Finkley Show. Thanks for joining us today. So you know I have my consulting firm, right? The Finkley Experience. I talk about it all the time, every day, if I need to, all the time. And then I've been working in education for the past 10 plus years now as many different things. And I love these opportunities where I get to go on different conferences and I get to meet different people and network with different people. So they can help me in some way and I can help them in some way as well. So that's what it's all about. I've learned so many different things. I've met so many different people these past 10 years and just going to different arenas like that and presenting and just being a participant as well. And one of those people is on the show today. We have Brian Heath. When I first saw him, we were at Clemson University in Clemson, South Carolina, and he was speaking at the Men of Color Summit a few years ago. I think it was his first conference it was held, and now it's been going on for some years now. And he was a phenomenal speaker, and I love his energy for inspiring, encouraging the youth to be the best selves. And so here he is. I told him, I need you on. And so he's going to talk about his experiences, his challenges, his positives, all the things that make up who he is, and also an exclusive announcement that he's going to share as well. So don't you go away. Brian Heath up next. Back in a moment. Coming up, we have Brian Heath. Back in a moment.
I put my trust in you.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Sunday Best Season 5 winner Joshua Rock is here, and you are tuned into the one and only Michael Finkley Show.
We still
On an all-new Michael Finkley. Y'all, prepare to laugh. Grammy-nominated comedian and actor Lavelle Crawford's here. He talks with us about his start as a comedian, his Grammy nomination, and future plans. It's a show you don't want to miss. Y'all, I'm telling you, I'm dying over here in this corner. Thanks, Michael Finkley. Wednesday. School districts, organizations, nonprofits, are you in search of a new promotional products company? Seekers Promotional Products is a Black-owned national company with over 780,000 products to choose from. Compared to other promotional products companies, they have the lowest prices in the industry. From pens, bags, shirts, they got you covered. They always remember that you are the customer and you come first. They always promise fast production and also fast delivery. With Seekers Promotional Products Company, you truly have the best. Check out their website at seegerspromotions.com and also on Facebook and LinkedIn. And tell them Finkley sent you.
Welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. Now, y'all, my next guest, he is a speaker, he's an author, he's an educator, and y'all, the Firestarter is here. He is Brian Heath. Brian, thank you for being with us today.
Man, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate you.
You are very welcome. Like I said before, I've been watching you for some years, and you are truly a fire starter, sir.
Thank you, brother, man. I give glory to God for that one, though. Glory to God.
Yes, sir. But I'm so glad that you are. So in your words, what is a fire starter?
To me, it's one of those scenarios. I'm a hip hop kid. And so all hip hop artists have like a stage name or a stage persona. And Brian Heath and that Firestarter entity came from describing my style as a speaker, even going back to my style as an educator, something to keep the students lit up on the inside and just going on stages and really just waking the people up, man. So I would call that a fire starter. I wake your soul up, soul igniter. That's what I do.
There you go. There you go. And like I said, that fire follows you along the way as well. So when did you know, at what point in your life did you know that your words could inspire?
I really believe, again, one time for all the educators that are tapped in today to this interview and this platform, I think if you're an educator, it's a calling. And I knew when I was a teacher that I had an ability to change lives. I heard it from the students. I heard it from the parents. Even when I was an administrator, I just seemed to be in a comfort zone. And I would have people come back. And I know you can relate to this, Michael, that every now and then the universe will give you glimpses and will give you confirmations. And I just would have parents and different people trying to invite me to speak at certain locations outside of the classroom. And I started to realize, like, wow, I must be pretty good if you're asking me to do what I do normally in a church setting for an athletic, maybe a baseball team or a basketball team. And that's when I realized that there was some type of connection that God had given me the ability to tap into. And I just started following it.
And I'm so glad you were following this, sir. And you continuously do it as well. So even in growing up, did you have that type of inspiration to get you where you are today?
No, I wish I could tell you that, but that wouldn't be true. I think I was a typical kid, but I am the product of two educators. My mom is an educator by trade. My father has done some teaching, but he's a corporate America guy, entrepreneur. I think I was the product of parents that told me, you can become what you put your mind to. But then they also were like big personality people. They love to party. They love to have a good time. They had warm energy. And again, if you wrap all that up, normally all of us are a culmination of our experiences. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't this kid running around motivating people, but I was a kid who really enjoyed, I was an extrovert. I love people. I love connecting, but I did have a love for youth. When I was young, I was a camp counselor, like 13, 14, 15. I was working with young people when I was a young person myself. So I had a natural connection to it.
Wow. Oh my gosh. And again, it shows in this arena of education. Yes. Myself as an educator, that is my trait for the past 10 years, from teaching to college to even having my own consulting firm, dealing with students that are wanting to pursue college within college readiness. It is truly a ministry. So how important in this day and time is education?
Can I tell you something? I have a program at Prince George's Community College here in Maryland called the Diverse Male Student Initiatives Program. And I started this program in 2009 by the then president, Dr. Charlene Dukes. And the program was designed as a retention program to help men of color not only come into college, but stay in college and kind of get transferred to a 4-year. I bring this up to say, if you don't know the numbers, over the COVID years, the last 2 years, the numbers of Black and brown men going to college has dropped down because a lot of students do not want to enroll in a virtual environment. And men of color have not been doing the best in that virtual environment. So to answer your question directly, at least for right now, making it relevant, programs like mine educate these young men that despite your challenges, we can still be successful. Plug yourself into the right resources, plug yourself into the right people, we can still be successful. So my program, again, education is not just in the classroom, but it's also bettering yourself outside the classroom. The books you read, the people you're exposed to, the circles you travel in, all those things is your education. If you're not learning, you're not growing, you're actually regressing, you're falling backwards. So to me, education is the key to every single dream. And as a teacher, we're just a facilitator of experiences. Facilitator of experiences. And know what else? And I know you can relate to this, Mike. I think teaching keeps you young. I think it keeps you young being a teacher because they're lit. You have to be lit. They're hopeful. It makes you hopeful. So I love it. Education is the key to everything.
Exactly. I love that. I love that. It keeps you on the latest trends, what to say, what to do, like all that good stuff, They give you the information that you need. But what has education done for you? Right? Okay. What has the education done for you?
Well, I have a bachelor's degree. I went to South Carolina State University. So I pursued my degree up until that point. I didn't pursue master's degree and doctorate because for me, when I got my bachelor's degree and I first started teaching here in Maryland, At the time, I wasn't 100% sure, was I going to be a career educator forever? Now, if you're a traditional educator, you know that in terms of elevating up in the profession, you have to get that master's. You have to get that doctorate. But for me, something strange happened. I started working in the charter school system in DC. And before you know it, Michael, I was getting administrator positions with just my bachelor's degree. I was a vice principal. I was a principal in schools. Just by my sheer talent and dedication alone, I was being promoted to positions that I should have had a master's degree for. But what happened though, being able to do that, I didn't feel the need to go get the master's or the doctorate, although I'm the product of two homes where there's master's and doctorate at the home. So they were kind of, Brian, we will get your master's, we will get your doctorate. But for me, my degree, my bachelor's, my time at South Carolina State opened me up to a world of career opportunities. It opened me up to a world of extended friendships that have lasted 20 years. I got a chance to pledge Omega Psi Phi as a part of my educational experience in higher ed. But again, I like to tell people, you know this, Mike, education is not just about your degrees. It's not just about the classroom. It is asking yourself, where is God trying to put you? And then what do you not know now that you need to know to get you to that next level? And that's your education. That's your grind season. So again, education for me has been the gateway and the doorway to everything.
Yeah. Wow. And it's brought you a long way as well. And I know within the educational time frame, you work with a lot of students. So very curiously, what would your students say about you?
I think they would say relatable. I think they would say he loves us. You know, as an educator, we always adopt that phrase, you can't transform what you don't love. And I think every one of my students, from the time my first classroom was a fourth grade classroom, and I've taught all the way up to college and everything in between, but they would say Brian cares, he loves us, he's dedicated to us, he gives us everything. My first year in the classroom, I would empty my soul so much, I would have to go to sleep for like 2 or 3 hours as soon as I got home, because I would just be dead tired. So I think they would say just he gives of himself, he loves us, he's dedicated, and he cares about our success beyond just the classroom.
Wow. Yeah, I would definitely say that because, again, we're in it to change lives, right? We're not in for a paycheck. We're not in for the gifts of the glamour. We're in it to change lives. And I know in saying that what you're saying is true because I get it as well, especially as Black males in education, where a lot of, we're not represented as a whole. And also, too, our students have an example to look at. So definitely in that light. But not only have you been in the classroom and within your day job, but also, too, you've been on tour as Brian Heath, speaking and encouraging and motivating and inspiring. As I said before, that's how I was introduced to you way back when at Clemson at their summit. So you've been on tour, 50 plus cities across the country. Like, oh my gosh, sir, when do you sleep?
It's funny. It's funny because I think there's certain motivation that says sleep is for suckers. Like that you're not supposed to sleep. We as entrepreneurs are always up, and I get that. And I guess that sounds sexy, but end of the day, I do sleep. I do take my power naps. I had 3 speaking engagements right before I got on this interview, back-to-back virtuals. 2 of them were on the West Coast, and 1 was in the Midwest. And so before I got on the interview, I jumped down, laid it down for a couple minutes to rejuvenate. But I love touring. Let me tell you something, bro. It's a beautiful thing that in 2009, 2010, when I told myself I wanted to be a speaker, I had vision boards that said one day people would pay me a lot of money to get on planes, trains, limousines, and fly me all over the country to hear me speak. Brother, at the time, I had never done that professionally. I was a classroom teacher. And now, looking back, I can't even recall how many times I popped on these planes. Car service, picking me up. Now, again, it's not about all those things, but it's the power to manifest an idea. I love meeting new people. I love going to new cities. It's been my heaven on earth, man. It's been a great ride. And the funny thing is, Mike, I really believe I'm really just getting started. The world hasn't seen half of what I have planned for this year and moving forward.
I love it, sir. And we're excited for you as well. And I love your passion about when you say that, especially vision boards, right? I feel that they serve their purpose because it keeps us motivated. You've been on tour, you've been inspiring and motivating so many different people. What have you learned about yourself in this process?
I learned that we are more powerful than our everyday lives allow us to be.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I said again, we are more powerful than our everyday lives give us the opportunity to be. So often, I think after the age, there's a quote that I say, the average person dies at 25, but they're not buried till 75. Mm-hmm. So I say, so what happens is at age 25, we go on cruise control the rest of our life. We work a job, we pay our bills, we hang out sometimes, a little bit of vacation time, do stuff with family, but we're not really tapped in. As a speaker, I'm challenged on the largest levels to get in front of 15,000 people. I did my first stadium last year, a stadium full of people. Again, for these type of experiences, you have to do a gut check. You have to figure out just how powerful I am. I also realize how much God is in my corner. You know, I think sometimes, man, chasing the money and chasing opportunity, you forget that you couldn't do any of this without God. Amen. So it's so funny when I do speaking engagements, people will hear me bring up God, not religion, but God. And it's so funny. They're like, wow, Brian, we didn't know that you had that spiritual undertone. I said, man, it's an overtone, undertone, a round tone. I can't do anything without God. So I've learned about my spiritual strength, and I've learned that we as a people are stronger than our daily lives allow us to be.
Yeah, definitely true, my friend. And we learn that through experience.
Yes, absolutely.
But Brian, when we come back, we're going to talk about your awesome book, Get Ignited. Back in a moment, y'all.
Okay.
Coming up, Brian shares some exclusive information. You don't want to miss it. Back in a moment.
This is Michelle Ryder from The Circle Season 3, and you're watching The Michael Finkley Show.
Looking for a mentoring program for your young male between the age of 6 and 18 in Columbia, South Carolina? Well, look no further. Big Homie, Little Homie Mentoring Program is the program for you. Under the leadership of Mr. Jamal Stroud, Big Homie, Little Homie is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that caters and mentors at-risk youth that come from single-parent homes. The organization caters to young males between the ages of 6 and 18 within the greater Columbia area. The organization is devoted to shaping and molding their life into great men of society. Big Homie Little Homie organizes male gatherings, discussions, and even educational assistance devoted to guiding and leading them into a positive light. Making a positive attitude will help in transforming their life regardless of what is experienced in life. For more information on Big Homie Little Homie Mentoring Program, visit our social media outlets, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. Still chatting with Brian Heath, speaker, author, educator, and Firestarter himself. And he has an incredible book, Get Ignited. It's been around for a few years now, and it's been inspiring and motivating those who read it. And Brian, you talk about one particular topic that runs across my mind. You talk about self-worth in your book, Get Ignited. Why is that concept important in 2022?
I'll give you a quote for that. You cannot attract what you don't believe you're worthy of possessing. I'll say it again. You cannot attract into your life what you don't believe you're worthy of possessing. If a person doesn't know their self-worth, you're not going to attract the romantic partner you want. You're not going to attract the financial resource, the abundance you want. You're not going to attract anything. You know what's going to happen? You're going to attract what you believe you are, not what you know you are. And that's what I mean by that in terms of self-love and self-value and self-love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's the word. That is a word. Wow. So it starts with self. It definitely starts with self.
It has to. So often, and I did a speaking engagement for a school again, a couple before I got to you today. And one of the things we talked about was the pressures of social media and this comparison thing that young people get on social media, and they're constantly comparing themselves to other people. And what starts to happen is social media starts to break down your self-esteem. It starts to break down your self-worth and your self-identification, because you're comparing your real life to someone else's filtered life. Mm-hmm. And now you start to walk around. I know adults that start to feel a certain way after being on social media too long, that it starts to make them feel like, well, look at what they have and look at what they're doing, and you lose sight of your power. So the funny thing about Get Ignited was every single time I jumped off a stage somewhere in the country, dream chasers, entrepreneurs, young millennials were asking me the same questions. And me, I'm a giver. I'm talking to everybody, giving them everything I have. I said, Brian, instead of having to do that, why don't you put all this information in a short read, and so that everyone had access to it? And that's how it became an Amazon #1 hot release. And the book is done very well.
Definitely. He has some good stuff in there as well. When people read your book and they tell you you've done this and has done that for me, what is some of the feedback that you've heard, and how does that just make you feel overall as an author, as an accomplished author?
The funny thing is that they again, I realized this: the power of good education or a good educator is taking complex things and making them simple. Mm-hmm. And that my book is called, in Amazon, there's a section called short reads. I didn't know that until I wrote the book. Mm-hmm. We don't live in a time, maybe you and I were coming up, you have those Harry Potter books that were like 800-page Harry Potter books. Mm-hmm. A lot of my students weren't reading and digesting those type of, it was just too much, they had too much to do. Mm-hmm. I said, I wanted something short and powerful, but it had a lot of resources, some activities, and people told me the exact same thing. Brian, I got through it relatively quickly. It was powerful. It was concise. The back of it has a resource guide of websites and podcasts and different books you can read after you finish the book. So people thought it was just like a lightning bolt shot. It had everything they needed in a bite-sized bunch, and so they really got transformed by it.
I love it, sir. And that's what it's all about. We're transforming lives here, sir. So I must ask, after everything that you've done, writing books and speaking and touring, what is that next biggest thing that Brian would like to be a part of or see or do?
So I'm going to make an announcement on your show. I'm not going to give you all the details, but I'll give you some surface level. Last year, I signed my first TV deal, a 2-year production deal. And I will be in production for my own show. I'm going to leave it right there. I'm not going to give you any other details about it today, but some correspondence is being done. And this is going to put me in front of approximately, looking at the network projections, about 52 million people around the world will be able to have access to this show. It's nothing like you've ever seen before. I had the vision for this show 10 years ago. I kept it in my heart. And it came to me almost out of the blue in terms of someone coming, a network saying, we love it. We want to get behind it. So that's my next big thing. Mm-hmm. And hopefully at that time, as the world begins to open back up, I'll just be able to take the TV show and turn that into a global tour. Right. Globally, I want to rock these stages. So that's my next big move, is this TV deal, the show, and turn that into a global tour.
That is amazing, sir. Oh my gosh, we can't wait for that. Please keep us updated on that. Thank you for sharing that information. So again, you are busy, but in an awesome way. Again, changing lives, motivating, getting out there, allowing people to realize you are worthy. Your best self, especially in 2022. So whatever life has in store for you next, I know it's going to be big, because God promises greater. He said our ladder will be greater. So whatever it is to you, sir, I congratulate you in advance. How can they follow you on social media, and how can they purchase this awesome book?
Well, first of all, man, before I get into that, man, I'd like to thank you. You know, one of the things that I realized about my business, about the things that I do, is that I'm really big on karma. I'm really big on always paying it forward, up the ladder, down the ladder. My business, my network of friends and family and collaborators like yourself is always built on mutual respect. The fact that you have a platform like this, giving people the opportunity to share their dreams and manifestations, is really it's amazing. So I want to congratulate you, first of all, man, and thank you for the bottom of my heart for allowing me to be on your platform. But people can follow me on Brian Heath on Instagram. I'm Brian Heath at Facebook. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, have a brand new podcast. I don't even know how I forgot about the podcast. The podcast, we're about 5 shows in. We're IG Live, called Pockets Full of Jewels. All things love, growth, and hustle from a man's perspective. It's me and 3 of my entrepreneurial friends. Hey, Mike, we started this thing almost by accident. And now I think yesterday on IG Live, our viewers went up to 1,295 live viewers watched our show. And again, we didn't plan this podcast. 5 shows in and over 1,000 people sat there and watched the whole show on IG Live last night. But I'm on Instagram, Brian Heath. Brian Heath Get Ignited at TikTok. Brian Heath at Facebook. So get in contact with me. Get Ignited wise, you can catch it. Find your local bookstores. You can find it online at Amazon. And again, we have paperback, digital copy, and hard copies, man. So pick it up.
All right, you heard it here, everybody. Y'all, he's Brian Heath. Come on, y'all, let's get ignited. Thank you so much, Brian, for being with us and just telling us your story in your words.
That's right.
We'll be right back, y'all.
Hello, I'm Winifred A. Winston, founder and executive director of Dyslexia Advocation and the host of the Black and Dyslexic podcast, and you're watching The Michael Finkley Show.
Keeping your skin flawless and clean is important, and I have the products just for you. Welcome to Mimi's Natural Pantry, where she specializes in homemade handcrafts, including lye and goat milk soaps, body butters, and sugar scrubs. All items are handmade products. All items have simple ingredients and are vegan friendly. In a world where you can barely pronounce many of the ingredients in your everyday products, Mimi's Back to Nature offers an alternative choice for those who are ready to get back into nature. Ready to order? Visit their website at mimisnaturalpantry.com. All orders over $50 have free shipping up to 25 pounds.
What's up, guys? So it's a time that I really want to express to y'all, and I got a point when making this. So I remember it was a time when I had started this job, and at this particular time, this job, I was getting paid the most money I had ever seen. Well, I never really touched on this amount of money. So I got used to living this certain type of lifestyle because of this job. And so after a while, I thought that this was gonna be how it was gonna be all the time. I didn't really think nothing was gonna happen. I was just making plans based off of what was going on right now. And then things kind of switched up later on because of the difficulties of the job. So I got switched to different departments, which now I'm making less because now I'm not getting the same amount of hours that I was getting before. And so now I'm used to living this certain type of lifestyle, and it was hard for me to adjust, which caused me to lose more than I was gaining because I was trying to keep up with this lifestyle. So the point of this story is you have to learn how to adapt when life throws curves at you, when life changes direction, because it's going to happen. Life always changes directions. Life always going up and down, side to side, and you have to learn how to adapt in order to stay ahead. But if you don't know how to adapt, you will end up losing more than anything. So make sure when life throws anything at you, when life throws any curveball at you, when life happens to you, which happens to all of us, make sure you know how to adapt to the new situation. Make sure you know how to adapt in order to win, because this is what this all about, winning. So I need you to learn how to adapt so that whatever happens, you can come out with a winning outcome at all times.
Hello everyone, my name is Michael Finkley. I'm a Nigerian actor, popularly known as in the industry as Nollywood. And you are watching Michael Finkley Show.
Are you ready for hip hop and soul? Introducing the hip hop and soul duo, MC Squared. They chat with us about how they got started, their album release, and so much more. It's a show you don't want to miss. Next Finkley. Finkley Friday. Everybody, welcome back to the Michael Finkley Show. I hope that you learned something from our guest today, that you were fired up and ready to go. Thank you so much, Brian, for being with us and just taking the time out to share your story in your words. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. If you're not already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Michael Finkley Show. Ring the bell for notification. We'll see an email saying, hey, new content's uploaded. Please listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And for more information about what we do here on the show, visit our website at michaelfinkleyshow.com. Of course, YOU42, our greatest, brandest new network that we're on right now, YOU42. Visit us at YOU42.com and check out our content, and some exclusive information is going to be up there as well. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you so much for watching, and guess what? We'll see you next time. Have a good one.